Alright, what's up guys? So I'm really kind of excited about this video. So I just purchased this keyboard on Amazon, and I had to make a video about it because it cost $15. The price of 2 Subway sandwiches got me a full-sized mechanical keyboard. So now this brand is from T-Dagger. I'm going to have the Amazon link and a picture of the original listing so that you can see I'm not lying. I actually paid $15 for this. I'll have that in the video description too. And yeah, it's a full-size mechanical keyboard. Now, mechanical keyboards have gotten pretty cheap in the last couple years. Obviously, you know, Red Dragon kind of pioneered the cheap mechanical keyboard scene, you know. So I wanted to take a quick look at this one, do an unboxing, and show you what you can get for $15. So let's take a look at it. Now, obviously, you have to understand, you know, you're not gonna get the best keyboard in the world. It's $15, so you do need to limit your expectations. But what I found so amazing about this keyboard when I purchased it is it kind of gives you a really good idea on how inbred the Chinese cheap mechanical keyboard market is, because I'm going to show you through some pictures, and actually I have a real-life comparison as well. I'm going to show you just how much of an overlap there is with these cheap mechanical keyboards. They are all coming from, you know, a couple of factories. There are only a couple factories that are making all of these different cheap keyboards, because these parts are just off-the-shelf wholesale parts, and in many cases they're reusing the plastic molds. So, as you can see here with this unboxing experience, you get a very basic cardboard box. On the inside we get our keyboard here, which we actually have to pull out. Most of them I've seen you flip up. I haven't seen one like this before. Nothing else in the box. We have our keyboard here with this very just thin foam, and that's it. I'm not seeing any kind of, no manuals, no documentation. Oh, there it is. It fell at the bottom. There it is. So you get your documentation manual, foam, and then your keyboard. So here's the keyboard. Oh, that's pretty cool. It includes a switch puller. We'll actually make use of that. So here's the keyboard. Initial impressions. I want to get to the keycaps in a moment, because that's where this is going to get really funny. But initial impressions, in terms of flex, a tiny bit, but not much. That's an idea of the thickness. On the bottom here, we actually have 2 little rubberized feet. You can pull them up. The bottoms are also rubberized as well, so there you go. That's what it looks like when you can prop up the feet and put it on your desk. In terms of switches, these were advertised with blue switches, and that sounds like blue switches to me. Pretty twangy. I mean, I assume it did not say what brand of switches these were, but I'm assuming that these are Otemu switches. So let's see if I'm correct there. Am I correct? Let's see. These are... No, it does not look like Otemu. I think these are... It says ET. ET switches. But they're, they look exactly like Otemu's, so they might just be a ripoff of Otemu's, or they could just be Otemu's that were rebranded. That could very well be the case, but these are hot swappable, so if you wanted to take these off and put something on there, that's, you know, your call. I will say a lot of these cheap Chinese keyboards make really good kind of jumping off points if you want to start getting into some custom mechanical keyboards, because, you know, with this, you're getting a case and a PCB, at least for pretty cheap. You know, some new switches with some lube and some custom keycaps. You know, that's you're gonna be good to go. In terms of weight, it's not the most, but it's also not the lightest. It's fine. It's perfectly serviceable. Compared to the EUSO that I looked at a while back, it's a lot heavier, so it's got some more heft to it. I don't know if this has any kind of backplate in it. It might have a steel backplate, but it's not going to be the biggest one I've ever seen. In terms of a cord, just a simple plastic cord, USB 2.0, pretty simple standard stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the unboxing experience, but that's not what makes this keyboard really cool. What I wanted to do is kind of bring to light kind of how inbred this industry is. So I will be right back. I want to go get my another keyboard I have to show you something. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled this out of the drawer. So this is my Red Dragon keyboard. This is the white version. But what I wanted to do, the reason why I pulled this out, is to kind of show my point as to just how ubiquitous these Chinese mechanical keyboards are. So what you'll notice if you look here at the T-dagger is look at the legend on the keys, okay? You see it? Just look at like the WASD, QE, and then look up here. It's the same exact legend, and this is one of the reasons, in addition to the $15 price tag, which is awesome, the keys being the exact same is interesting. Now what's interesting is this does not have the arrows on WASD, this does, but look at the Windows key, it has the lock on it. Windows key has the lock on it. Pretty neat. Look at the icons on the up, down, left, right arrows. Same here, although those also have WASD on them, so they're interchangeable with these. So there is some differences, but the legend is exactly the same. So what that tells me is that these keys have to be coming from the same factory, and in all likelihood, I can't be too sure without doing some very precise measurements, but I would be shocked if these keys did not use the exact same mold. And then, depending on what the customer wants, they can just silk screen, a new, the arrows on there or whatever the case is. Now, actually, one thing that is interesting is that this is an RGB keyboard, or excuse me, RGB. We'll get to that in a second. But these are LED backlit keyboards. So these are double shot keycaps. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I thought that was so cool because what you guys have to understand is, and I actually found a couple other tenkeyless keyboards that were, I don't know if I think they had a similar legend or something like that. They might use the same one, or one of them might, I'm not sure. But the point is these cheap Chinese mechanical keyboards, they all use parts that are from either the same or like a couple of factories. So there's not a lot of variety. All of the molds for all the plastic parts, the keys, the legends, all of that is reused. The key switches, that all comes from the same source. So what you get is a lot of these keyboards are very cheap and they're very similar. It's a very inbred, kind of industry. So I just think that that's so fascinating and cool to look at. And what that results in is you getting, a $15 mechanical keyboard. What I find interesting about this one too, it's so cheap, but it's a full-size keyboard. You even have your numpad on the side here. Most of the cheap keyboards I've seen were tenkeyless or 60%, which is even more cut down from tenkeyless, which I think is interesting. So seeing a full-size keyboard for $15 is kind of mind-blowing, to be honest. Of course, it is very, basic for a mechanical keyboard. Very basic. But that's okay. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of pull out the Red Dragon just to kind of showcase how similar in style these are. I would not be surprised if some of these parts came from the same factory. And actually, what we'll be showing when I do the lighting tests, the Red Dragon and this T-Dagger keyboard actually use the exact same lighting scheme, where each row is its own color. You can see that in some of the advertising, but the top will be red, and then orange, and then green, then blue, then purple, It's the same thing between both of them. So I actually would not be too shocked if the PCBs came from the same place. Just the fact that they have the exact same lighting configuration. I actually would not be shocked. But yeah, so that's kind of the unboxing, and I wanted to compare it to the Red Dragon keyboard. But what I'm going to do now is plug this in and show you some of the different lighting modes that it has, and as well as just what the lights look like. Alright, so I have the keyboard set up on my desk here. This is the little sound test when it's on my desk. There you go. So, that's a sound test on the keyboard, but what I wanted to do was show off some of the light functionality. So, on the up and down arrow keys, this is typical for a lot of these Chinese keyboards, because I'm pretty sure they use the same chips in here for lighting control, just because everything is so standardized, because like I said, it comes from only a couple factories, so there's not a lot of difference. So, just like my EUSO, if you use function and then up and down, you can see you can change the lighting modes, which is pretty neat. Now, if you do function and then these number keys on the top here, you can actually change between several different gaming modes. So you have like FPS and MOBA. So like, let's see, function 1, WASD. So that's a that is some type of FPS. Let's see, that looks like a MOBA. There you go. I'm not gonna guess at what these are. Just these are some of the patterns that you can look at. 9, I guess, is just off. So there's that. And then if you do function insert, you can actually switch between different lighting modes. So this one is pretty cool. It's just kind of like an alternating. This one's cool. It goes into the center, kind of like that. A loop or a spiral, I guess. Oh, that's cool. It's like a moving breathing mode, kind of. This one's reactive. This one's cool. I like this one. That's pretty neat. I believe this one's just static. Yeah, that's just the static one. So there you go. Yeah, that's basically it. Oh, no, yeah, you can, that's reactive, so you can, the individual keys can light up too. Yeah, there's a lot here. This one is actual breathing, I think. Maybe, I don't know. So, yeah. But yeah, that's what you can expect in terms of the lighting mode for this keyboard. Overall, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, for 15 bucks, I mean, what else do you want for $15? It's a full-size mechanical keyboard that uses actual mechanical switches, even though they're not the most premium mechanical switches. But again, they're hot swap, so you can put your own in here, and you can put O-rings on it. You can put some new keycaps on it. It's $15, guys. I can't. That's what you have to understand. I mean, you know, just don't go out to dinner on a weekend and you can have a mechanical keyboard. I'm just amazed at how cheap these things are. Have gotten. It's just, it's awesome. It's really cool. So yeah, like I said, I will have the I'll have the link for this down in the video description. I'm also gonna have, I actually found a couple other cheap mechanical keyboards that were like $16 or $17. Now those were tenkeyless, but I'll have those there as well if you want to take a look at them. Do keep in mind that typically on Amazon, once these keyboards sell out, they're typically kind of done, but a new one will pop up from like a different fake brand or something. That's just kind of the cycle of these go. They liquidate parts and then they bring them back later under a different brand once they have other parts that they want to get rid of. So that's just kind of the cycle of how these things go. But you'll be able to get yourself something that's very cheap. So let me know what you guys think. You know, are you interested in something like this? Are you going to buy one? I think it's awesome to have mechanical keyboards that are, you know, this affordable, and I can't believe that, you know, we've gotten to this point. Because you have to understand, this keyboard, if I wanted to buy switches, just like Otemu cheap switches, a pack of, this is a full-size keyboard, so it's 108 keys. A pack of 110, because you buy them in packs of 10, would cost more than this entire keyboard. So that's just so cool to think about, and how like, with the use of bulk and buying things at wholesale, they're able to get the price of this thing down so far. It's just, it's really impressive to me. So I've geeked out enough about it. I also think it's kind of interesting to see, like, with how I showed you with the legend as to how inbred this mechanical cheap keyboard industry is, with how, you know, all these parts are probably from a couple different factories, and there's so much overlap, and, you know, it's just a matter of slapping a brand on a space bar or something like that, and then you have a brand new mechanical keyboard. So yeah, I think that's really cool, and I think it was really interesting to take a look at that. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video, so please leave a like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and yeah, we'll see you next time.